play this pick, and it is still a flex. We still generally see it with Xiaohu, but it can go to way, and of course, we don't know if Cryin will be able to play it or not.
Yes, we see ZS coming out with the Renekton once again, looking for that early pressure. You know, we'll have to see. We could see Xiaohu just answer with the Jayce once more. Obviously, he was fine in that match the previous game, and it comes down to what Ultra Prime want to secure as well in this rotation. Again, Ziggs hasn't been banned, and if open and available, it was kind of clear that although the theory was there behind the Yuumi kind of pick, although we've seen it in the LCK, execution wasn't quite lining up with expectations. So Ultra Prime are going to be the ones to secure that Ziggs.
They do secure the Ziggs, but this gives an opportunity now for RNG to secure that bot side, or hell, even the Twisted Fate for Cryin, give that massive power pick to them. But no, they're going to go with the Jayce, and this, I feel, has to be going up to Xiaohu, which does mean that Lee Sin potentially could go mid, potentially could go into jungle, but I feel like it's going on to way.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if it ain't broke, don't fix it with regards to the Jayce. Leona as well for Ming, obviously a really big factor in that early pressure in the matchup where we felt, you know, it should be favored to Ultra Prime. Ming was able to find a window. So I think RNG, they should be happy with the picks they've taken so far. And it really comes down to what Ultra Prime want to sort of round out with. They are going to take the Alistar. So something that can actually stop disengage quite effectively. Just a pretty good job of like knocking Leona away, knocking the Lee Sin away. But obviously, you know, a little bit weaker at that level 1, potentially giving a window over to RNG to contest. And we'll see what they want to ban in this next rotation. I think maybe limiting AD carries is going to apply that pressure with the Leona. Kalista coming out as one of those. For RNG though, jungle pool still open for Ultra Prime. So if you wanted to start to pinch that, definitely not a bad idea.
Definitely not. I do like the adaptation we're seeing here from Ultra Prime. Again, I don't think the Renekton was a terrible pick for ZS. I thought he did it very, very well, but just fell too far behind as a team to really make it have that big mid-game flanking impact. And RNG, they're just recognizing the fact that the Jayce is still good. The Leona is still a great pick for Ming. Last split, it was Nautilus. This split, it's Leona. It's something that Ming tends to do in his career, is just pick a champion, and that is the one we want to use.
Yeah, and you know, it worked for him, and I feel like it's probably going to be pretty fine here as well. Gives them that engage potential. RNG can ban away that Trundle and the Volley Bear here, and you know, in terms of providing some extra AD for team, Lucian makes a lot of sense in that regard. A pretty good blind pick in the mid lane, and good at applying that pressure. Sets up Hacker for a jungler with a lot of agency. For a jungler sort of to rely on that priority to have a lot of agency, but instead they're actually going to lock in that rumble. So making sure they have enough AP if they want to go for that AD mid laner, and obviously is a pick that has a lot of team fight potential with the Ziggs. Can throw down those ults together, absolutely melt people.
If they lock this in, which I don't think they will, I do believe it is the Jayce to the top side. I would be very surprised to see people forgetting about Xiaohu's Lucian. Of course, Frosker and saying last split he is the best Lucian top in the world, but they do land onto the LeBlanc, knowing that they are going to be picking him blind into the mid lane. Could still be a Renekton for Xiao, but has plenty of picks to go from at the moment. The Ezreal locked in here for Gala. Another pretty damn safe pick in that bot side. So when we're looking at the side of RNG, we should just see Ming on this Leona roaming around the map once again.
And you know, I'm honestly going to say, I feel like Ultra Prime have kind of went out in the draft in the bot lane here. I feel like Ziggs, Alistar is going to very much mitigate the Leona pressure. And also, you know, something to be said for the statistics of it. When Ezreal was super overpowered with Divine Sundra, one of his worst matchups in solo queue across all ranks was that Ziggs. And there's good reason for that. It's just the fact that you can't contest the priority at all. You just get shoved endlessly under tower, and he is one of the few champions who does match your range. So I feel like this is a pretty comfortable matchup for Ultra Prime's bot lane. My concern is the mid jungle. Lee Sin LeBlanc is a Titan tested old school combo with a ton of early pressure. You have the CC with the change from LeBlanc, the damage from the Lee Sin. I am really concerned for Hacker. If they manage to apply pressure onto the solution, I feel like it's just going to bleed into the jungle, and as soon as we start to see the Rumble fall behind, I think they can take over the map.
And this is the big thing. When you pick something like a Lucian, you are assumed to have that priority. You are assumed to be the one looking aggressive, getting those trades in. But you take one step too far without full knowledge of where the enemy jungler is going to be, you can be punished. And for RNG, that's what they're going to be looking for. But I do agree with you. I love what Ultra Prime have built into this game. I think they have a lot more late game insurance alongside some decent early game opportunities to try and make this composition work into game 2.
And I think it's going to come really down to how they navigate the early levels, particularly making sure that Hacker can have a safe laning phase and a safe early clear in the jungle on this Rumble. Because obviously with the nerfs to Rumble, he is way more vulnerable to invades. I mean, he already was pretty vulnerable to invades, but he doesn't have that much on that level 1. He needs really a leash to help him out since he can't overheat by himself. And essentially, I want to see Ultra Prime look to stabilize that. I want to see them look to be able to find an opportunity for Hacker to make his way in this game. And I think for Hacker, it should be a path from top to bot lane. Get the leash from the Renekton, he's losing priority anyway. Path down towards the Ziggs, towards this Lucian, where you should feel a lot more comfortable. And then you'll be in a good spot to take that first scuttle and just scale up until you hit that level 6 point.
Let the Gyos roar. We can't hear them, but you guys at home can. That's all that matters. It's all about the viewing experience as we come into Game 2 of this best of 3 RNG 1-0 up in the series. Looking to make it a sweep of 2-0, or unless Ultra Prime can put a spanner in that works. And we do see the double corrupting pot in the mid lane for the Lucian and the LeBlanc. It is pretty common. That's what you want to be doing. You're looking for early skirmishes. You're looking for early push priority, and just having that extra mana regen just helps you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, big factor is just be able to trade abilities and use those to push the wave. Do expect just about to have priority in the early levels of the matchup, and we do see Hacker start on the top side. So one will be pathing away from the Lee Sin, which is always good when you're not wanting to contest that jungler early. And on top of that, we'll be pathing towards lanes with priority, so you can kind of lean to them. The only potential vulnerability is ZS is kind of going to be on a bit of an island on the top side. Do you actually see Hacker just able to solo the Raptors though?
Ooh,
See,
Ignite went down. Yeah,
flash.
they go forward on this. 2 more auto attacks will do it. 1 more. Yes, the Mystic Shot is good enough to hit, and Ming still survives. Again, in this bot side, we are seeing RNG punish Ultra Prime.
And this is just raw outplay. This, you know, ShiauC is not the strongest level 1. Alistar just isn't a good champion level 1. I feel like he can kind of, you know, mitigate a bit of that pressure and then fight back afterwards. And it's just the fact that because they're contesting so early, he ends up getting punished for it. I mean, here, walks up to Leona, gets stunned, and then just is tanking so much damage from the Ezreal. And here's the thing with the Ziggs, level 1, he doesn't have enough sustained damage to kill a target. He's pretty close here on Ming, but the bouncing bomb missing. Critical to not finding that. And I just feel like it's disrespect from Ultra Prime's bot lane. They've been given the tools to succeed, and it's ended up backfiring. And now we actually see Ming going for a very early roam on the top side on the back of this reset. Not sure if he'll actually be able to find anything, although he is pinging, he's looking for the ZS, and Wei is moving over as well.
Honestly, if Hacker was on this top side looking to contest for this scuttle, there's no way in hell that Ultra Prime are prepared for this. Ming did get the reset off. Maybe he go for a dive, and with ZS having himself underneath the tower down to about half HP, still has a flash available to him. This is a full commit now for the side of RNG. They are waiting to see if they can get this one going. I don't know if ZS really has any inkling that this one's going on, and be curious to see if they can make this one work. No Ignite available, but Wei is already around the top back end of this. They're going for the full dive. Minions coming in, the TP comes out. RNG just going to back themselves away. They got the objective they wanted, and now Smlz is the one who has to get himself all the way back to bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, you stopped the dive, but ZS is still going to have to reset here and TP back in. And now you've been your TP, you've gone to the other side of the map. Going to miss some time on the bot side. It's, you know, I think it's the right play from Ultra Prime, but it doesn't feel good.
It really doesn't. And something we didn't actually mention at all is that Gala went with the TP himself on the Ezreal, so he's going to be able to match this Ziggs, and now you're at a tempo disadvantage. You've had to use one of your globals to get yourself back into position. And speaking of another global, Xiaohu just TPs into this top side. He's got to try and see if he can get a secondary shock blast to try and deny this back. And oh, so close, but not close enough, as Xiaohu will not stop ZS's back, and ZS should be able to soak up this wave on top side.
But the scary thing is now ZS pretty far behind in farm in this top lane, so we kind of expected, you know, the less agency early in this top side, the Jayce and the Renekton matchup is going to cause problems, but already it's looking to be a sore point. And we saw how much Xiaohu was able to do when he was ahead. I mean, when he was behind, sorry. We just seen all in here.
Yeah, they do knock him back into the tower, so Ming takes a turret shot and trades roughly the same health bar as Smlz, but Gala with this poke, with the tier already picked up, he's just pushing himself so much further ahead than the Ziggs, and Smlz, he's going to struggle for the first few levels until he gets those multiple points into his queue.
Yeah, until he gets the mana as well is definitely a big factor that sort of helps the Ziggs out and is able just to annihilate the waves. But this discrepancy in terms of gold is problematic. You know, it is something that's going to give that early agency to the Ezreal a bit more thanks to that kill, given the CS advantage. And that's the concern, because I don't mind Xiaohu being ahead of ZS. It is going to be a problem later on, but you hope that you can deal with it. But for Ultra Prime, you were kind of banking on your mid and bot doing well. Mid, ShiauC is doing a pretty good job, but the fact bot lane again is making a critical error that's costing them, it's concerning, and it can kind of change the plan for the entire game. But we did talk a bit about the jungle matchup, how we kind of wanted to see Hacker just able to scale up and remain safe. He's been doing that, so that is definitely a shining light for the team.
Yeah, he has just been not involved with absolutely anything. He's like, no, guys, I'm sorry. This is post-nerf Rumble. Not as strong as he used to be, so I need time and I need resources to get up to my level 6, to have that equalizer, to have an impact potentially around these fights. And now we see the bot side basically being controlled by Ultra Prime. They're going to try and use this priority now in mid and bot to push that deep vision in. Hacker will find way, and it will be a trade of a pink ward here for the information. Now with ShiauC roaming up as well, very difficult for RNG to really make a counterplay off of this. They're just going to push in the bot side, probably go for a reset. Actually, they just went for a reset and they got back into lane. ShiauC, let's be a little bit careful. Lucky the Hacker is there to keep him alive. And again, we're just waiting to see how they're able to use this priority. But the TP advantage here for RNG in that bot side does mean that Gala's going to get a plate or two.
Yeah, and I think it's actually down to... No, it's down to just 4 for now. But that Sheen coming in clutch, the extra gold generation, meaning he's able to do more damage to the tower, push the wave a little bit faster. At this point, Smlz has been able to pick up a Sapphire Crystal on top of the tier, so can kind of match the priority a decent amount. But, you know, it's still not ideal. But we do see Ultra Prime feeling more confident. You know, Hacker's at that level 6 point, Way's still only level 5. He's found a bit of momentum on this Rumble, and all in all, as much as the bot lane didn't go swimmingly, I think Ultra Prime can be pretty happy with the state of the game right now. This is where we can feel a bit more confident in them. There's still very much a lot of power in RNG. And speaking of power, ShiauC will just get blocked out by the clone, but looking to really pressure Cryin here.
Yeah, I like Cryin using the clone there. Something that's unsung, I suppose, is that you do have a pseudo control over the LeBlanc passive, so you can make it work for you, as we now see that ShiauC without his ultimate, and not looking great on the mana front. Cryin trying to just bait him out just a little bit, way off to the side, but ShiauC knows. He knows something's got to be up. He backs away all the way underneath his turret and he's going to say, look, you know what? You want to take that tower? You want to go for that push? That's fine by me. Wei will leech some experience and gain himself the Dragon's Kick, and Cryin just going to be left to push out mid.
And they're looking for a topside invade on this red buff, and Hacker might just be deleted off the back of this. Goodbye.
Oh, he doesn't even have to use anything to get behind Hacker, and there's the equalizer as well. It does 0 damage, and now ZS gonna see if he gets locked up, but pushes himself back, drops down a ward, not gonna face Shaq into that one just yet. And Wei now using this priority to take himself the Rift Herald and maybe look to try and push somewhere else on the map.
Yeah, really good execution there from Wei. Finding the window to invade, has a rough idea of when the red buff is up and when it's going to be contested, and so he's able to push straight in and take Hacker down. Now, the move into contest this, and actually, Cryin's in base, so maybe able to find Wei here.
Well, they flash in on top of him, and they will trade the Rift Herald for Wei's life. It is a not-so-clean moment, but ZS needs to be a little bit careful. They will not have the Lucian just yet. He does turn, though, and Xiaohu respects that the Lucian might be coming. And that's a good turnaround for Ultra Prime. They still do lose the objective, but at least they gain something off of it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, overall, it's a 1-for-1, and RNG get the Herald, but all things considered, it's good to see Ultra Prime looking to punish in that regard and able to take a kill in return. It does go to the Renekton, which definitely helps. His CS gap has closed significantly as well. So, can't complain too much overall for the side of Ultra Prime, but it's looking to see where RNG use that Herald to kind of snowball and look for that advantage. For now, though, looks like Ultra Prime has started the Dragon, taking this window where they're able to get on the map a little bit sooner. But Smlz just reset, so it feels like, kind of feel like there won't be a contest, but I think should just be able to get it in time. But Cryin's fishing.
Cryine's looking for ShiauC. He will get locked up despite the flash. You can see Ming just hovering around, not quite able to hit the Zenith Blade. And even if he did, ShiauC was prepared with the Pulverize. And now RNG gaining a summoner off it. They will get their own little win off of losing the objective.
Yeah, I mean, you got to take those windows. Unfortunate, Cryin not able to land the second change, just slightly out of range. But either way, it's kind of this idea both teams are like, okay, you got the objective, but we'll take something in return. Even if it's not as big, even if it's not as vital, it's at least trying to find that window to punish in some regard.
We come back into a little bit of a lull. Again, this is very much what RNG like doing. They're not an explosive team. They are not your standard LPL blow everything up and look for those massive advantages. They are more methodical. They are more slower in their approach, but that doesn't mean they're not as deadly as they really do look to push and prod around from these teams and just try and suck the life out of them if they possibly can. As we can see Gala just roaming with Ming to see what vision they can take care of, knowing that they're still safe, to now let Ming roam around the map.
I'm looking for this mid lane play. The Cullen going to come out, just clear the wave, really heads up from just about. We might still be in trouble.
Oh, a little bit of trouble. They do land the Sonic Wave, and they will pick up that kill. That one gets donated over to Cryin. It was a bit of a risky one. It was probably as good as it could be from ShiauC about to clear the wave to make it as difficult as possible, but no real way of him getting out without his flash. And now on top side, we're going to see the Dominus pop. Xiaohu going toe-to-toe with ZS, but I don't know if ZS really wins this fight just yet. He's going to wait for the last rotation of his spells and should be fine now after using the Q to heal some up, but needs to be a little bit careful as he comes up to Xiaohu, who's going to have his first item soon.
Yeah, I really love the play from RNG to punish the lack of flash in Xiaohu. Very much, we took a summoner, we're punishing the summoner. The top lane, though, we just had kind of constant scrapping between these two. ZS doing pretty well in these trades overall against the Jayce, but cautious about overstepping without the rotation of cooldowns. Both junglers have made their way up to the top side. Wait, you're alone, by the way, dude.
Yeah, you are by yourself, and there is nowhere you can really go. There's the lovely insect kick, and away picks himself up a kill. Nicely done here by the RNG top jungle duo. And again, these are just small moments that just give up massive advantages to RNG. Gives them time, space, and resources to make the plays that we see them do all the time now in the mid-game.
And you know what? Pretty clean from Way, I'll say that much. Kind of was a bit like you're... Not sure if he's going to be able to take that Renekton isolated. Thought ZS could just dash away, but finds a really nice execution on the kick. And now able to use that Herald to take that first tower. And Xiaohu is going to be rewarded with so much gold off the back of this. And again, we saw how much the Jayce did in game one. You're now giving that Jayce all that extra income to work with. It's so scary.
All of this extra income, and look at this. This is what we talk about when we say that RNG are just such a smart team. Does he need to take the turret right now? No. Can he deny 10, 12 minions before that wave crashes? Yes, and that's exactly what he does. It's just such an incredibly smart way of playing the game. He still hasn't even taken that tower, and ZS can't walk up to it. Now he'll lose it after using 2 waves of minions of XP, gold, and everything. Just such a good way of playing the game.
And there's now just such a massive gap between these two top laners. It's a 1,600 gold lead. ZS is trying to start a fight. I mean, I guess now is the only window before he recalls and gets more items, but he's still already got an Eclipse on you. ZS just needs to back away, and his Jayce is an issue. Now, just about, just going to go down.
Oh, just not respecting that he didn't know where Wei was. He had a false sense of security because he was like, it's fine, Hacker is here, and Hacker does absolutely nothing. ZS, though, getting so much damage put down on top of him, not beating out the Dominus just yet, but really nothing he could do. And like you said, this is before the Jayce goes back and buys.
Yeah, it's only going to get worse from this point, honestly. Pretty massive goal discrepancy built up, and Wei done a lot more, been a lot more proactive in this game on this Lee Sin. We can see here the dash in from Xiaohu, chains comes, and it's like, that's the power of this combo. The CC from the LeBlanc guarantees the Sonic Wave from the Lee Sin, and the damage is there just to carry through onto the Lucian. And now it's a 3,500 gold lead for RNG, only 40 minutes in the game. This is a much more snowbally than game one, and you know, they need that from the composition. We talked about how there's a lot of scaling elements from the side of Ultra Prime and how RNG wanted to put down that early pressure, but even so, this is kind of rough for Ultra Prime to be dealing with right now.
This is very rough for them. As you said, 3,500 gold lead. It's 1,000 gold, sorry, 1,500 gold into top lane, 1,000 in the jungle, about 1,000 in bot side. it's only really close in mid, and even then we're seeing the power that this LeBlanc has over something like a Lucian, which we mentioned. If they step too far forward, they are going to get caught. And this is the trade we're seeing now from Ultra Prime. They're looking to try and maybe make this dragon a win condition. We'll get an ocean or a mountain soul available to them. It's going to be the mountains, so not the best in the world, but RNG don't care because they're looking for power and gold now.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is I don't hate the decision from Ultra Prime to go for these dragons. I actually think it's the correct one, because by doing that, you're delaying the soul, right? If RNG want to get a dragon soul, it's going to be 35 minutes at the earliest. But RNG are finding advantages. Ultra Prime trying to answer back. We'll find Ming.
They get one kill onto the support. A lot of ultimates had to be used there. They do land all of them, so the damage was enough to keep it going. But with the Rift Herald spawning over the top side of the Raptor camp, you can't see that being pushed into that mid lane. So we'll take it down to about half HP. Not quite in a position to take that fully, as ZS did roam down from the top side. Realistically, he does not want to be anywhere near that. Serpent's Fangs has been finished up now for Xiaohu. And yes, it's good against shields, but even just as a penetration item, this Renekton has negligible armor right now, so he's just going to be blown up regardless of wherever he goes.
Yeah, and he doesn't even have a complete item, and Xiaohu's on 2.
Oh no.
It's pretty worrying. Oh, what is that damage?
Oh my god!
What is this champion, honestly?
We can see why RNG just putting such emphasis on this, and you called it in the first game, but I think we got to call it in the second. You're blinding the Renekton with the Jayce still available, and it's just not working. This Jayce is able to deal with you so easily, and straight up just scales better.
You know what? I'm just gonna say it. I don't know if they could have picked something else that would have done better. I feel like with the way RNG have played around top, and also just, you know, I think a big factor is that the player is called Xiaohu. I think that's just such a massive factor here.
Might be
kind
something
of feels
to do
like
with
a problem you can't really deal with, and the fact he's so fed now already in this game is pretty scary. I'll say that much. It's kind of like, especially as he spikes so hard right now, Ezreal is coming up on his spike when he has his 2 items. We have Cryin, who's in a pretty good spot with that Luden's finished. This is where RNG are really strong, and I want to see them continue that momentum into this game. Keep applying the pressure, keep controlling the map. They slow down. That's Ultra Prime's only real route back into this one. Oh no.
You see Xiaohu just pushing forward. The flash has to be committed there by Smlz, and they can't defend turrets. Even with a Ziggs, they can't step near it. No one can deal with this poke. Oh, as they go in, now we can see the equalizer put down. The tower has fallen, but now Ultra Prime maybe looking to try and turn this one back around. They've used all of their ultimates. No flash there for Hacker means that he has to use it after the solar flare. And that's 4v5. RNG are just smashing Ultra Prime.
I feel like I wince whenever the shock blast comes through the acceleration gate. I'm like,
feel it.
I know it's going to do so much damage. Yeah, I mean, it's visceral at this point. Yeah, I'm going to try and look for Xiaohu here, see if they can fish him out.
It's a lot of damage here.
Thing. If you can get on top of him.
Yeah, he spots ZS, and they know. Yeah, he's been spotted, so I think Xiaohu has a bit of an inkling. So smart about the game, and that means that the bot lane is free to be taken here by Cryin with his teleport available to him. And important to note, in that last skirmish around mid lane, not only was it 4v5, but RNG didn't use any summoners. Gala's was already down. He used it a while ago, so it's just advantage over advantage over advantage here for RNG. And Ultra Prime, they're up a creek without a paddle right now. They have no way of kind of dealing with this. Xiaohu going to find himself between a rock and a LeBlanc right now as he gets to go in, try to dash away, use the Gale Force and the flash, has all of his mobility used, and he will keep his life, but I don't know, Chief. I don't know what this is for Ultra Prime, but this ain't it.
Yeah, I just find it funny that, like, just about dashes, Gale Forces and flashes, and Wade, it just kind of, like, walks through and leaves the tower. And now ZS, the ult comes down for Ming. That might be enough to catch him out, but he will just flash to get away. But again, we've just seen mid laners flash burn side of Ultra Prime. We've seen top laners flash burn side of Ultra Prime. These are major, you know? It's not necessarily like you're getting a kill, you're getting extra gold, but this limits the effectiveness of Ultra Prime being able to take a fight. If you're trying to get on top of Xiaohu, stop him shock blasting you from a mile away, Renekton having flash is pretty important. And the fact that Jayce doesn't have his just means he's more of a vulnerable target who can be picked off potentially. Dragon is going to spawn in 20. I think Ultra Prime, they secured those earlier dragons. That was definitely a massive advantage for them, and it sort of slows the game down. But I think you have to give this one over.
Honestly, I don't even think they can. I think if they give this one over, they just, resign themselves to dying a death of 1,000 cuts. They have to get this. Their win condition is the dragon at this point in time. They're just so far behind. Xiaohu coming in. You see the poke going down just on the Xiao. He has no flash. The only person on the side of Ultra Prime who has flash right now is ShiauC. And even now, I'm looking at it, just seeing him walking forward. I don't know if he can survive the damage. He has to pop his ultimate. Now we can see that the Ultra Prime, despite putting all their eggs in this dragon basket, have to back away. They can't even contest it anyway.
Yeah, honestly, I think this is the right call. As much as, it'd be great to get that dragon and play for that win con, Ultra Prime's comp scaling elements and RNG are spiking. They are so strong right now at this point in the game. It's the 2 items for Ezreal. It's the 2 items for the Jayce. It's the sort of similar point for this LeBlanc. As much as it feels bad, RNG are nowhere near a Mountain Soul themselves, and realistically, this gives you more time to scale. It gives you more time to move past those spikes. At some point in this game, Smlz probably going to pick up his Zhonya's. The extra armor going to really help out at mitigating the cut coming through from Xiaohu's damage. I think, I respect the fact they tried, but at this point, you just need to play damage control. It's so difficult for them to contest RNG right now.
Oh, and ShiauC getting jumped onto and deleted. Solo kill for Cryin, and this Lucian pick is not working out. As you can see, just using the distortion. Pop in, say hello, pop out, and you have pressure in all 3 lanes. You've got top lane pushing in. Ming's able to roam up from mid. You've got the Jayce on the bot side. ZS can do nothing about that. RNG have the pick of the litter. They can decide where and when they want to fight. And we're just going to see this replay of him just getting utterly deleted.
Yeah, the distortion, really nice here because it actually clears the minions. You managed to get the... Oh. Yeah. I mean, everything just hit. That's all I really can say about that one. A lot of damage from the LeBlanc. And yeah, going to be able to apply that pressure. Take that tier 2 as well, which is a big influx of gold. And that whole scaling up thing only really works if you have a game to sort of come back to later.
I was gonna say, it's like late game is great and all, but if you don't ever get there, then it's never gonna happen. It's just you gotta survive until that point. And Xiaohu just playing so smart, recognizing that if all of his team are pushing on top side, he's on the weak side on bot lane, so he backs up before the Caedrel weak side police roam up and put him into the weak side jail. And this is just RNG. This is a team that is just becoming slowly but surely back into their 2021 spring form. This is a team that are showing that they are still well capable of taking a LPL Summer Championship, to making themselves the Spring, Summer, and MSI champions, to repeat the 2018 success and maybe go for another go at that Golden Road like they did in 2018. This is just so good from them.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking on point. And again, Ultra Prime, not the biggest competition in the league for them, but they've had some really strong results. And the thing is, we've seen from Ultra Prime that they're capable of taking games from stronger teams than them in the standings. And I kind of feel like that was what Game 1 felt like. That felt like the game Ultra Prime against maybe a weaker opponent would have won. This one kind of feels like where the inconsistency kicks in and they're kind of just getting wiped. But it's not over yet. They still have scaling elements, but... Ow. Ow!
Just ow. As you can see now, Cryin might be in a little bit of trouble. Has flash available to him, just using double distort, and he's not going to even invest his flash right now. Just knows he's dead, but instead of giving that kill to ShiauC, gives it over to Hacker. I do like that little change. He sets it on C. He's trying so hard to just be like, I can still stay, but he's just getting poked out so much.
He's so scary. I mean, there's just too much damage on the side of RNG right now, and I'm trying to present the win con. They need time. They need time, honestly, and they need RNG
miracles
to, if Gala misclicks and accidentally sells his entire build, great, right? If Xiaohu does that, even better.
We're in the money.
Yeah, we're in the money. Rabadon's now picked up for Cryin. But again, these are the sort of picks you need to play. You find a numbers advantage, you find a window. It does cost you your mid tier 2, but realistically, I'm not sure how defendable that was anyway against the strength of RNG right now. So you'll take any win you can get, any minor advantage.
anything at all. And that's the thing we always say. Oh, ShiauC needs to be in a little bit of trouble as he flashes away, but he gets flashed on top of. There's going to be the equalizer now committed by Hacker as they do get a shutdown onto the Jayce. The TP comes in, ZS just being enough to keep this guy away as LeBlanc does join in on the fight. But that's a 30-second death timer now, while a 40-second death timer, while there's a 30-second timer on this dragon. So important to note that they still might have a chance. Ultra Prime, they might be able to get on top of this.
ShiauC has TP. This could actually be the window, and because Xiaohu was higher level, he actually has a longer spawn timer and survived a bit longer. So, you know, this could be Ultra Prime's opportunity to take a 5v4, but they have to be fast about it. I want ShiauC to TP in instantly, and I want them to look for this fight.
Oh, ShiauC looked for something, but just couldn't find it. Cryin baiting it beautifully. Now Hacker taking so much poke from Gala. He's just putting out these mystic shots time and time again, just chunking people out. ZS over the wall, trying to see if he can go for something. But again, Ultra Prime, they're just not in a position. Even 4v5, I don't think they can go for it. The equalizer's back up, but it doesn't really hit its mark. You'll never notice a good equalizer. You'll always notice a bad as Cryin, again, taking more damage, but RNG are not afraid. They know that they are in the ascendancy, and they've got themselves their second Drake.
Yep, and RNG able to close and latch that window Ultra Prime we're trying to find. Just really struggling, even with the Jayce down, not able to find a window in on that dragon, and Ultra Prime, oh my lord.
God damn, and he didn't even use the Dragon's Wage. Holy moly, way. And Xiaohu still nutty with their damage. TP on the back end of it. It's going to be ZS, but ZS, I don't know if you have a way of getting back into this. They do land the Q there as Wei goes in, jumps back out, trying to keep himself as annoying as possible. Ming goes in. He's a tanky boy, and Ultra Prime are dead to rights. They will be deleted, sent to the Shadow Realm. RNG will take everything from them and give nothing back.
And they should just look towards the Baron right now. Not quite long enough on the death timers for them able to end the game here, but Ultra Prime, it is looking dire right now. I think RNG showing the caliber we expect from them. Game one, you know, it was clean, but it was a bit slow. There were windows from Ultra Prime where it started to mess things up, but this game two, Xiaohu has just been an absolute monster.
Xiaohu and Wei have just been at the core of everything, and Cryin as well, this top side of the map, and it's just done so much work. They only need 3 people to take the Baron, and this is just them being opportunistic and knowing where they can fight. Good God.
And it's just, you know, it's kind of disrespectful from Justify. You know they're going to be setting up on this side of the map for the Baron. You don't have vision there. You kind of want ShiauC to be the one to face check, because at least he can ult and then maybe combo someone, but here they end up losing their primary carries off the bat, and then I can't really fault them for this because they're never winning this fight 3v5, but they're kind of in this mindset of if we let them get Baron, the game's doomed. So it was kind of a doomed if you do, doomed if you don't. Speaking of doomed,
yeah, well, they got the Baron, so doom eternal here for the side of Ultra Prime. They do commit both ultimates to try and survive. It will be Hacker getting away, but ShiauC not going to be so lucky. As I say that, we can see Wei just feeling so confident, going in, looking to try and get that flash kick going again, but not quite able to find it this time round. While that's all been happening, we have seen Jayce pushing in that bot side with the Baron of minions, trying to get themselves into a position to get these inhibitors down.
And I feel like it's so hard for Ultra Prime to contest. You know, we're going to see another Shock Blast in a second, and once again, I'm going to feel severe pain just from the amount of damage he's going to do. No armor picked up from...
Oh my God! It's not even just Xiaohu. The Shock Blast! What is this damage? Look how far ahead RNG are. Gala, unafraid, goes in with the Arcane Shift. And they're going to be able to land so much poke, and they haven't even fully engaged yet, Ox. They haven't even fully committed to it, and everyone from Ultra Prime is quickly running back to their fountain saying, please, give me help, give me the healing, I have nothing. Oh, what?
Cryin is too good. Cryin is too good.
Cryin is too good. Xiaohu and Cryin with these kills right now, and there's just nothing Ultra Prime can do. It will be about 30 minutes by the time this game goes out, but RNG with a statement win over Ultra Prime, 2-0, and they are firmly on a 5-game win streak, pushing themselves further and further up the table as we go into the latter half of the split. They'll pad the KDAs just a little bit to make sure they get as much as they possibly can, but it's not going to change the result. It's not going to change how this one ends. An RNG 2-0. My word.
Kind of the outcome we expected, and I think we got to see some of Ultra Prime, right, in that game one. It was kind of like when they had the early agency, when they're able to get, you know, contest those earlier levels, they looked okay, they had some good moments, but ultimately RNG were really punishing. Game 2 was kind of the other side of the coin, where it felt like there wasn't really too much contention from Ultra Prime, and RNG just in full form. This team looks honestly scary. I feel, you know, they haven't quite had the greatest split thanks to that rough start, but right now they're gearing up towards playoffs, and it is so hard to sort of work out how to deal with them. The fact they took down EDG, the fact that you see a game like this and they just annihilate you, even when you come in and you're like, okay, you know, we have a good strategy, we're going to do this with the bot lane, we got the Ziggs or whatever, it just does not matter at all.
It really doesn't. And 5-game win streak, the last loss they received was a 2-1 against them versus Suning in week 4. That before that, it was obviously the same week, 2-1 against Top Esports, so they were still very close series. And for RNG fans and for the faithful of this team, this is so good. They're back. This is feeling like a top 4 team. This is feeling like a team that can make the run in playoffs, that can make it all the way to the finals once again and come out as the #1 seed.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we can just say that they're back. They are back. They are looking on form. I think after the EDG series, everyone was feeling it, but now on a 5-win streak, and I don't see where this is going to stop. It just feels like no one really has a good answer to this lineup. It's so hard to kind of scope out anyone who can sort of match up to this.
Honestly, you look at the teams they have to play in the coming weeks. They play JDG on Saturday. They play RA. They play TT. It's not exactly the greatest of teams. They all still, you know, apart from TT, they are still playoff level teams, but if they're able to take down JDG convincingly, if they're able to take down RA convincingly, and then WE and then BLG, that's 4 wins. That brings them up to, you know, 10 or 11 and 5. Not only that, but they're at playoff level teams. These are teams that are going to be teams you play in the postseason, and if you're able to smash them like we've seen them smashing so far, like I don't know. I just don't know who takes down RNG, and I'm really loving them coming back.
You know what I would have said? I would have said EDG. EDG will be the team. They are on form this split. And you know what? They got 2-0 by RNG, so that was kind of out the window. Yeah, I mean, they are looking absolutely on fire. And the hope for any RNG fans is they continue this form, but at the same time, you know, we will see teams step up to contest them. We will see teams, you know, adapt, develop strategies for this. So you know, as much as they are very much looking like one of the top competitors, I still estimate that they're going to have a lot of challenges to get through before they make it to that top spot. And they're still not even in the playoffs technically yet. They still need to keep fighting to make it there. So definitely can't let the foot off the pedal yet.
Well, actually, technically, and this is a technicality, with that win, they go to 6-5 with a greater game score than everyone else on 6 wins and more losses. So they actually move up into 10th position. So they have finally crested into playoff position for the first time this split for RNG. So it's been a slow climb, but as we ramp up towards the end of the split, they are picking up more and more wins, climbing back up to the top end. And we got to talk about our MVP, our man of the Rift. It was way on this Lee Sin, and what's surprising me the most about RNG is that you can't let them have blue and you can't let them have red, because they're either going to get a priority pick or a counter pick, and either are still so good for this team.
Yeah, and I think Wei's been playing beautifully. I think the way he facilitates Xiaohu and plays around him is so good, and this LeBlanc Lee Sin, we've seen this before in the LPL, not always going super successfully. Sometimes just not able to find that pressure. I believe we even saw it up against Ultra Prime and just about brought out Vladimir, and the pressure just wasn't there. But here, you know, RNG consistently finding these picks onto Xiaohu. His KDA looked pretty atrocious at the end of the game, and honestly, I don't even fault him. It's just way flawless on this Lee Sin, and the follow-up is always there. He's not making just the isolated individual plays. They're coordinated, the setup is there, they know when they have a numbers advantage, and as a result, we didn't see what happened in game 1 with Ultra Prime, where they make a good play, and then they get collapsed on and die. It was like, we make a good play, we win the play, and then we translate it into an objective.
Honestly, just great from the side of RNG, and unfortunate for Ultra Prime. Like we said, all bark and no